This tutorial covers setting up metadata fields. Click on Metadata Fields in the Admin panel. Metadata is used to describe the ISO documents that are stored in your system. They help you find the documents you are looking for, know who owns the documents, identify important dates like publish date and expiration date, etc. Metadata fields are sometimes referred to as columns, as these values are displayed in columns in a list. The system comes loaded with a number of predefined metadata fields. Some are system-required fields that can't be edited or deleted, such as document owner, document status, linked documents, etc. Other predefined fields can be edited or deleted if not applicable for a given customer. When creating a new metadata field, you must first specify a unique metadata field name, then select the type of field, and finally identify whether or not this particular field is required or not. There are a number of different metadata field types, each with different behaviors. We will set up a few different field types as examples. The first metadata field we'll create is a single line of text field. First we enter the metadata field name, select single line of text. You can enter a description if desired, but that's not required, and then you specify whether this metadata field or column is required or not. We'll leave it not required. Click on create, and we're done. It's added. Test field 1 is now being added to our list of metadata fields. We can click on the red X to delete this metadata field if it's not in use, and we have the option to edit that metadata field. When you edit a metadata field, you can change the field name, change the description, change whether or not it's required, or you have the opportunity to make this metadata field inactive. I'll take a quick second here to explain what this means. If you have a metadata field that is already in use, i.e. you have a value entered for that metadata field or column for a given document, you won't be able to delete the metadata field, but you could make it inactive if you so require, and thus this metadata field won't show up on future occasions when you are adding a new document and adding metadata or editing metadata of existing documents. Let's create a second example of a metadata field. This time we'll select the choice field. When you create a choice field, you define what choices should show up when that metadata field value is being entered. In our example, we'll choose locations. These might be locations of facilities in your organization. For our third example, we'll select the metadata field type, personal group. In this scenario, you'll be able to select people that are authenticated to your system. So by entering a person's name, it will look up names that match that person and will be entered in the field. We'll show this example in a second. So now we've created our 3 new metadata fields, and we'll go in to our existing document library and we'll edit the metadata or properties for one of these documents. And here we see the new metadata fields that we've created. So here I can enter for test field 1 any text information. For metadata field 2, I'll have a drop-down list of the locations that we defined when we defined this metadata value. And for test field 3, I can enter the name of any user in the system and verify that name by clicking on the person icon and you can see that it's found that name in the system and saved it in that particular people picker metadata field value. Now that I've saved the edited properties or metadata for that particular document, if I scroll over to the right in this particular list view, I see the metadata, the new metadata values for their respective columns: test field 1, test field 2, and test field 3. There were a few other metadata field types. Some of these are self-explanatory: number fields, multiple lines of text, date-time fields, yes-no fields. The lookup field against an existing list is a little bit more complicated. Simply stated, when you select lookup, the system will look up against existing metadata lists that we've defined in the system. Right now, there's 2 lists defined against which you can look up: a departments list and a job titles list. So if you tie this metadata field to either of these 2 lists, the values in that list will show up as the metadata choice fields available to you. For example, if you select departments, then all of the departments defined in the department list will be available to you as choices in a list box when you're entering that metadata value for a given document.